What's up? Today we're kicking it with Mark Traylor. What's going on, Mark?
What's up, Russ?
How you been doing?
I'm fantastic, man. Loving life.
Loving life. I hear you, bro, man. So, how's the band been going?
Fantastic. You know, we added Charles recently.
Charles
You know Charles.
from Lowboy?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And
Okay.
Nero Vatra.
And Nero Vatra. Yeah. We'll get into that one later, in a little while. And JJ from FSN, huh?
Yeah.
Man, that's
my boy.
awesome. That's awesome, man. Now, how long you been having Nero Vatra go for?
What's that?
How long has Nero Vatra been going for?
Right before COVID, I think we had been together for about a year.
A year.
When COVID happened. And that was kind of my introduction back into music. You know, I got my feet wet with playing with Mark and boys from Nero Vatra and shit. And COVID happened. And I was like really excited about where Nero Vatra was at. I was really excited about the songs. And then we just got in a holding pattern, and then Modern Primate just kind of came about through all that.
Now, Nero Vatra hadn't played any shows at that point, did they?
No, we had never. I think Modern Primate played a show before Nero Vatra actually played a show.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. You got those some good dudes in that band, man.
Thanks, man. I'm very happy right now with the chemistry we got in the band. It's magic.
So JJ's in the band. What kind of magic does he bring?
Man, me and him just play off of each other so well. He brings melody to parts. Like we had this one new song that like I liked it, but at some point I wasn't like sold on it. A lot of times we'll write songs and I'm just not sold on the song, and then the more we play it, the more it kind of just morphs into something, and I can hear a story within the music, if you will. And we got one that we've been working on, and for the longest time I was like, I don't know if this song's gonna make it. I don't know if it's gonna make it. And one day, man, JJ just put these leads over it, and it just gave it so much emotion, and it was exactly what it needed. It was exactly the emotion that the song needed to tell the story.
Well, sometimes you need that extra eye, that extra ear to see what needs to be, what could be put in there, and it helps a lot in bands when you have multiple people that can write music, because then you're just not stuck on one particular. I mean, don't get me wrong, that one sound is great,
Right.
but it broadens the writing process and the ideas and stuff, and that's pretty cool, especially when you for, I guess for now with Modern Primate, you got all these people in there, and I'm sure you're getting some good stuff written. Huh?
All three of us are songwriters. Like there's a song that pretty much JJ has written and brought in, and we're like, yeah, and we just play it. It is what it is. And same way with Charles. I know Charles has written songs, and it's just as soon as he brings it in, there's nothing anybody really wants to change. We're all happy with the product, and myself included. But at least every practice we get probably 20 minutes of footage, because I always record our practices. And typically we come into the room, we're plugging in our shit, we say a few words to each other, and then we start jamming. No intent. Somebody just starts playing something, and we all come in, dude. And I mean, at the end of it, it's like a 10-minute fucking just stoner jam. You could put it on a fucking record. We just know we all know where the song's going, and
I mean,
it's nuts.
Maybe you should release a song like that.
That would be really cool.
It's just all instrumental, yeah.
Yep. And every once in a while I'll hear some vocals sometimes when we're jamming like that, and I'll just be like, and put like a scream in there, and it eventually becomes something. We got a couple songs now that are actually that where we've just jammed something out, and then I recorded it and went back and listened to it and started writing lyrics to it, and so now it's becoming a song.
I mean, that's how a lot of song ideas come up for is a jam session, and it's that's to me are always fun. I mean, I wasn't really the greatest bass player, so when they would start jamming, I'd be like, all right, what's the drummer doing? Let me go and follow that. But you get some ideas like, oh wait. About 5 minutes ago, we played this riff, and then don't forget that, and then you can come up with some good ideas that way,
Yeah, I finally learned to hit record. That was the biggest problem, You're always at practice like, oh, did anybody record that? No.
I don't remember it. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'll never play a riff the same way twice when we're jamming like that.
No.
I'll just keep bouncing on shit.
Yeah, I mean, some of the best songs are written that way, Um, so you were saying I early before we recorded, you guys are recording. Are you guys recording a lot? As like a song tomorrow,
Yeah,
or
we're just
multiple?
recording a song tomorrow.
Okay, okay.
We're gonna record a song called Biology.
All right. Is it about biology?
It is the first line is biology of the ghost in the machine, and it's about AI. It's
Okay.
about technology taking over.
Well, that since you said that there, what are most of your lyrics about?
It's random.
Yeah.
Like this one, like is my writing process is always different, but it usually starts from a simple fascination.
Okay.
Like I'm fascinated by the word technology. I'm like, that's a cool fucking word. I like the way it rolls off my tongue. And then I'm like, what can I rhyme with that? And I come up with biology, and I'm like, biology, technology. Like I can tell a story with those words.
Yeah.
And so it'll come with abstract writing of just I like these words, I like the way these words sound together or what these words mean together. I like words that are like juxtaposed, that, you know what I mean, kind of two different meanings. And so then it's just an abstract poem, and I'll read it and I look at it, and one day I'm like, there's a story here. You know what I mean? These abstract words are telling a story. So then I'll maybe write another verse that really drives home the message, or a chorus that drives home the message of whatever is there. But I can't sit down and be like, I want to write a song about being on the beach or like a specific idea. I can't write a song that way. I kind of just have to abstract write and then find a story within that writing.
So, are you a vocalist who writes lyrics down beforehand, or do you write your music? Do you write your lyrics when you have music?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Because whenever that simple fascination happens, man, I might be watching a movie and I hear a line. Somebody says I fucking scratched my nails off on the side of the road or something.
You're like, oh,
that's a good image, yeah.
Yeah.
So I write that down, and I might just have that one sentence, or I might just have that one word for months in my phone, and then one day when I'm looking for inspiration or I'm inspired, I'll go in there and and I'll start adding things to that. And then once we have a song as the group, I'm like, fuck, I need lyrics. So then I start scrolling through that shit, and I'll find something, that works.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Like I'll be sitting around, I'm like, oh, let me type down this couple little lines real quick, and or I'll be driving, I'll be looking out, and I'll be like seeing something like, oh, that looks kind of cool, write down, and then a couple days later, go back through and be like, oh, okay, I hear this, and I start, just different ideas I see, and I have a lot of lyrics. There ain't nothing to put them to. But
a lot of my lyrics are old, man, like 20 years old. You
really?
know what I mean? Like, and not all of them, because I do a lot of recycling. So I'll take a line from something I wrote 20 years ago, or maybe like a course or something. But
you ever look at something from back then, and then think of what's going on now, and those lyrics that you wrote then are still
Safety in the Plague, bro.
Okay, I know that song.
Yes. So I wrote those lyrics in like 2003.
Okay.
And then they didn't get used until COVID happened. And that kind of, that was a weird transition for me too, because I've always been a guitar player.
Okay.
But I've always wanted to be a singer, and I've always wanted to, be more involved in the creative process of the songwriting. And so I didn't know what the fuck to write about. And that was a really hard hurdle for me to get over, because a lot of the things I wanted to write about are going to hurt people's feelings. You know what I mean? And that's never what I want to do. So to start with, I think I was trying to like hide behind, let me write about something that's not me, that's on the outside, and so that Safety in the Plague was.
Gotcha.
And Safety in the Plague, I think originally when I wrote that, a lot of my lyrics are actually about my own mental health.
Okay.
And the things that go on in my head, and sometimes I feel like I'm fucking crazy,
I mean, aren't we all?
Finally, 40 years now, 41 years, 42 years I am now. I've figured out how to navigate it, and I'm like, all right, I am the way I am. But
December, you guys released a new single, and that was called.
It was originally called "Fuck You."
Okay. Oh, I. It's funny because that was going to be. I was going to speak about that because that is in that song quite often.
Yes.
And I was like, huh, I wonder what this song is about. And Actually, the name of the song is Karma's Crown.
Yes.
That's the name of the song.
They talked me into changing the name to Karma's Crown.
Okay.
And I do like it.
I mean, it's a cool name. It's a cool name. But so what is that song about?
That one's kind of a story, man.
Yeah.
It was one of those just magic moments. I was jamming at home, and jamming to like a drum track on YouTube, and just coming up with riffs.
Okay.
And the main riff in that song is a riff that like me and Kev had kind of worked on before, but that's all we had was that one riff. And while I was jamming along to that YouTube video, that riff became a song. It just flowed out like that. Like I pretty much didn't have to change anything, I went back and kind of re-recorded it just to, get rid of some of the flood and shit. But I had, the song just flew out like that. So my stepdad, when I was, I guess my mom left my real dad when I was 2. And she remarried an alcoholic, abusive asshole. The last time that we saw him, he took like all the breakable shit in the house and put it in a sheet and was like slinging this sheet around the house like Santa Claus, just breaking shit.
God.
And then he set the place on fire. So my sister got me and her out of the window and went to a neighbor's, called the cops. I'd never seen the fucker again. I guess we were homeless for a week or 2, and then my real dad let us stay with him. And then over time, my real parents rekindled, and love story, man. Love. Yeah, it worked out. They're still together. They're happily married. But that motherfucker really fucked me up.
How old were you?
I was like between 2 and 5, maybe, during that period.
And that's what that Karma Crown's about.
Yeah. So he passed away that year. He passed away that year, and
same year.
Last year.
Okay.
Was it last year? Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting ready to go to a Nine Inch Nails concert, and I went and got some McDonald's. I was eating my fucking Big Mac, and I called my mom, saying what's up before I go to the concert, and she's like, "Bobby died," and I'm like, it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I got off the phone and I'm like sitting there just fucking sobbing, and it's not because I had love for the motherfucker. It's realizing what an impact this one fucking person had on my life. Growing up, I guess it was blocked memories, and it didn't hit me until my teenage years. It started surfacing, and it was partially because of Korn, because of those songs like Daddy and topics like that I guess I just never brought to the surface. So I started having, memories and shit, and I'm going to go to my mom and be like, did this really happen? I've got to be fucking wrong, My mom's telling me it happened, it's not something we talk about a lot, but. So yeah, after he passed, man, I had a lot of shit that I wanted to say, and that song is it.
Well, I mean, I can tell that you wanted to say fuck you to him, because that's repeated probably about 50 times.
Yeah. Sorry to get off,
No, you're good. I mean, I asked,
Nobody's really asked about that song other than, the guys in the band, so.
Well, I appreciate you talking about it.
Yes, sir.
So, the name Modern Primate. What's up with the name?
So it comes from the stoned ape theory, Terrence McKenna's theory of, the apes ate mushrooms and evolution took over and expanded their minds. I originally came up with the name Modern Shaman. And it's pretty cool, had a nice ring to it. I don't think it sounds anything like what we sound like,
No.
And Kev came back with the Modern Primate, and I was like, I like that. Yeah. Like, there's something primal about what comes out of us, like our sound. We kind of have a primal sound, and I'm starting to look like the old ape.
Yeah,
fucking gray beard.
You got the beard going on there, yeah. I actually like the name. And it's kind of similar to another band around town.
Oh, yeah. Guerrilla warfare.
Yeah, that's them.
There's a lot of guerrillas in this town, man.
Yeah. When guerrilla warfare first started, it looked like there was a bunch of guerrillas in the band. There's a bunch of the brothers. They all look, and I was the little guy in the band. And I got all these 3 big old beasts. I'm like, oh, all right, guerrilla warfare makes sense.
Yep. apes are a lot cheaper than real musicians.
You're right.
You can just hire monkeys.
I mean, you can train them just as well.
Same.
So here's something that I want to talk about. The local scene and where there is to play in Clarksville.
Yeah, that's a good topic.
I mean, I know we talked about CG Froggies recently, and those were some good times there. I seen a lot of cool bands there back in the day. CG Froggies.
It's called the Sundown Lounge. That motherfucker was like 10 different names, dude.
Yeah, and it was the smallest. They had the smallest little stage too, and the drummer could barely fit in that little cubby hole.
Yep.
But and then of course everybody knew there was always the Warehouse. That was and when you were younger, if you were younger at the time, of course the Warehouse wasn't a place that you were able to go, and in the mid 2000s, of course they had the Coup in Clarksville that opened up. That was a really great.
I never went to the Coup.
Really, it was a really cool venue. It was all DIY, all done by locals. Zach Lerman and Stacy and Corey Kyle. They all opened up the Coup, man, and it was a great place, man. A lot of cool shows came through there. But now, what do we guys have for Clarksville?
The Revel House. Every once in a while, we'll throw a metal show there. The Pea Patch is starting to kind of open its doors.
Really?
Yeah, we had a show. Nero Vatra had a show. It was a few months ago, and we got another show coming up here on the 30th of this month.
And that's for Neil Vatra at the Pea Patch?
Yes. And we're playing with I forget who else, but I know Jawfane. It's one of the bands we're playing with.
Okay. I mean, does Clarksville need more places to play?
Yes. And if I'm being honest, I think the peak of the Clarksville music scene was back in 2003, 2005 when you were throwing shows at the JC's building, the Fairgrounds building.
Yeah,
those were the fucking the prime era of music here in our town, I think.
Those shows at the JC's were pretty legendary.
Yeah.
Pretty good times.
And I mean, a lot of those people went on to do some good shit.
Yeah. Everybody that played in that scene at that time has been in bands or still doing bands and gone on and winning bigger bands and stuff. The Warehouse was the last standing OG venue in this town.
It was.
And it's crazy because it's been 3 years that it's closed down. 3 years. Yeah, and it just was a great place. I miss it all the time, man.
It's just sitting there.
Still standing tall.
Yeah.
Never been knocked down, man.
That's where modern Primate cut our teeth. It was nice to have that venue to cut our teeth on, and be playing shows there once a month to get practice and shit. And had a fucking phenomenal stage to play on.
That stage is, man. I've seen so many local shows at that place.
Yeah.
Do you remember a place on Fort Campbell Boulevard, Tropicana Shade?
Yeah, I do.
It was like a 2 double wide trailers stuck together. We played there. Well, had Taken Under had played there with FSN, but they weren't FSN at the time. It's when they changed it to like Psycho something. It was it was FSN still. I think they had a different drummer possibly. I could be mistaken, but
579.
Yeah. Is that even what it stands for?
Yeah, that was a drum pattern.
Really?
Yeah, that's where that name came from. That's what I was told.
Yeah. Nobody ever knows.
No.
So what was your first? It could be local, but what was your first music concert you ever went to? It could be a local show or your first big show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think it was probably my first big show was Ozfest.
What year was that?
I think 96.
Oh. Towards the original. That's like the original Ozfest.
Yeah, that was around the time that Ozzy had Osmosis album was out. So it was actually Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
And I didn't know what Ozfest was at the time, so I didn't know it was like an all day thing, man. But we missed a lot of shit. I rode with like a friend from school.
Okay.
Her dad drove me and like my best friend, and my first concert, man. I'm nervous. We get to Starwood, which I missed that fucking place.
It's still standing there too.
Yep. But I'm nervous. Fucking 14, 15-year-old kid walking into a concert. Fucking my parents had never even took me out of like Clarksville. You know what I mean? We'd never been on vacation anywhere, so this was all foreign to me. But we get there, man, and everybody's just so fucking cool and so nice and inviting. It's like, nice shirt, kid. Yeah. That kind of shit, man. So I was like, this is awesome. We find the stage. I see the backdrop. It's motherfucking Sepultura Roots.
Oh.
And I was blown the fuck away. I'd never heard some shit like that, And then after them, Danzig came on.
Nice, okay.
And I tried out Mosh Pit for the first time. And then Ozzy came out, and that was, I was fucking blown away.
Wow. I mean, hell, those three bands right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to see Sepultura, the OG lineup, and you got to see Danzig, and that was a good era of Danzig still.
Yeah, it was. I got fucked up in that pit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then you kept going back for more.
I did.
I see some cool shows there. I think actually in '96, I saw a little band called Rage Against the Machine.
Oh shit!
And Wu-Tang at Starwood.
I remember that show. I didn't go.
It was crazy to see so many different types of people in like one venue. You had a hip hop crowd, you had the metal crowd. Even though a lot of the metal kind of crowd, or punk rock crowd, if you want to say that for Rage as well, they all listened to Wu-Tang. It was just it was like back then. It was like kind of like it was like one of the first intertwined shows, with different genres, and it was really cool though to see Rage at that point of their career and to see Wu-Tang. And without Old Dirty Bastard, he was obviously not there; he was in jail, but. Yeah, it was really cool, man, to see that show there.
Bro, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. There's a promoter in Louisville, Kentucky that we're doing a show for in July. It's called Fuck Cancer Fest. And when I was talking to him on the phone a while back, he was saying that he might have Wu-Tang booked for that day.
Wow.
And I guess they're on a tour with Tech Nine. And somebody he knows is like the tour manager for Wu-Tang or something. So that's how that all kind of panned out. But yeah, he was saying that they might make it either the first or the last stop on their tour. It's like, man, that'd be so rad to open up for Wu-Tang.
It would be cool.
And I think we'd be a good fit. Modern Primate would be a good fit for something like that.
I know I saw you guys do a show at the warehouse once like that, but have you guys ever opened up or played shows with hip-hop bands outside of Clarksville?
No, not outside of Clarksville, no. But we did do a show at the warehouse. It was all hip-hop. We were the only band. And, like, I'll be honest, we sold more merch that night than any other show.
Really?
I don't know why. It was like these people had never seen somebody play a fucking actual instrument, Like, they were just used to motherfuckers sampling shit, and they were just blown away that we could actually play, I guess. I don't know.
That's pretty cool, man. That's really cool. I think I always like playing with different styles of bands, different crowds. And I've never really got to play with the hip-hop crowd. One time, Taken Under had played a show at Rocketown. And in the big room, there was Young Buck was playing that night, okay? And we're playing in the side room, and we're playing. I always say that we opened up for Young Buck. Because we played a show, and then after our show was over, Young Buck performed. So technically, we opened up for Young Buck. It was at Rocketown. But
Rocketown was a cool place.
I hadn't even been to the new one. I hear that there's this fest coming. Is it July?
In Adams?
Yeah, or somewhere over there.
Yeah, I believe July 5th and 6th.
Okay, what's that about?
It's a Warrior Fest. Travis Woods kind of set it up. I know he had their first year was just recently last year. They had their first year.
Oh, they had one last year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And so they asked us to come this year.
Cool. Anybody local on that besides you guys?
A ton of people, but
really?
I forget, man. We've got a lot of shows lined up, so it kind of gets a blur. But
So
I know. I think of Serpents is going to be there.
okay, okay.
Um, Blackwater Down was on the bill.
And that is that Burns band?
Yeah,
Okay,
Burns,
okay.
Chris O'Brien.
Now I seen that they got a. I guess they're looking for a new singer or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So we played a show with them at the Revel House here recently. Our
Uh-huh.
last show was with them, and the very next day they posted that they were parting ways with her.
Oh,
Like it was kind of a shock, really.
really? Yeah, I remember meeting those guys when they were doing the Hidden Sixes thing. That was a pretty cool little project there.
There's very talented musicians
Oh
in that
yeah,
band.
really cool guys, man. You guys actually recorded with
Mike Carr, yeah.
yeah. Is
Yeah.
that who you did all your stuff with prior?
So Mike Carr did the album, the self-titled album that we got.
Uh-huh.
Edison Vidro did Safety in the Plague,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
and we're going with him tomorrow. Karma's Crown and Medicated Bliss, we recorded and mastered and shit ourselves. We're just trying to get some experience and, see what we came up with. So.
I mean, you said you're gonna record, one song. With music nowadays, you think it's more you get it benefits the band more now to just release a single than it is to release an actual full EP.
Yep. Unfortunately, because it's just become so disposable and there's just so much competition now that it just gets forgotten about unless you're just drilling it into them every couple of months.
That too, and I feel like when you put out a full EP sometime or like an album, a full album, only a handful of songs people are going to listen to because they're going to. I mean, we're all guilty about that with bands that we listen to. But if you put one single out, that's all they have to listen to. So they're going to constantly go back and keep listening to that. And then when you actually do release an album, all those songs will be on there, and they'll be able to listen to the whole thing. But at that time, but at the time leading up to that, you're getting plays off of that one song and that one song.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I do like having the ability to tell a story with an album. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's becoming a lost art form
That
of a concept album.
there's some good concept records out there. A lot of good concept records out there. It was always it's always interesting like talk about the layout of the CD. What song you want to go here, what song do you want to go here.
Yeah.
And then it's rough when you got like 5, 6 people in a band and everybody's like, oh, I don't want that one there, I want this one there. Me personally, I was never upset about anything. I was just like, man, just put it where I don't care. You'll just tell me when it's done. And of course, every album that I've been a part of, I don't mind. I like every order that the CD's in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I definitely want that as a listener and as a creator. I want the song to take me on the journey.
Uh-huh.
I want the album to take me on a journey. So it is fun to, like you said, make playlists or even set lists. We do it a lot of times with Modern Primate. Like this newest set list that we have coming up, it's fucking something we've never done before, dude. We're just coming out swinging.
Hell yeah.
Like, as soon as we come out the gate, it's all fucking heavy. We're not playing Blue Diamond. We're fucking just slamming you the whole set, dude. And
Hell yeah.
There's some surprises in there. I'm not going to say what's going to happen, but it's going to be a surprise, and I think people will really dig it.
Any cover songs?
Maybe that's the surprise.
See,
Modern Primate has never done a cover. Maybe that's.
I hear songs sometimes, and there's a lot of songs I hear, and I'm like, oh, Modern Primate should fucking cover this song because I can hear your voice doing that. You know what I'm saying? And then I also can hear you guys changing up a little bit, put your little flavor on it. To me, that's always been the fun thing about doing covers.
I feel like we're a hype band, so finding the right hype song that fits us was important. And we've jammed a few different things. I mean, even down to Sexy Back, Justin Timberlake. Somehow, we had a few too many beers at practice, and somebody was like, fuck, let's play Sexy Back.
Hey.
Next thing you know, dude, we're trying it, but, like, it didn't sound good. But I don't know. I had a cover pop in my head, and I kind of added some deeper, lower vocals to it, and I'm like, this is so us. This fits us so well. So
is it a Typo Negative song?
we've tried Typo.
Really?
We've tried Black Number One. I wanted to do that for Halloween, but it's just never come.
His voice is pretty fucking deep, but
Yeah.
you have a deep voice as well when you sing. I covers. What's one of the coolest covers you ever seen a band do?
I mean, Sweet Dreams, Manson. That
Yeah.
was that was an amazing cover, in my opinion.
I mean that was the era of cover songs. Everybody had cover songs
Yeah,
back
that's
then.
how you made it.
And I've heard stories about labels wanting bands to do covers, and they're like, no, and you're not going to push that as a fucking single, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool cover. Any cover he actually did, man, like any covers that he's done, he's always turned them into his song.
Yeah.
Like he did "Enjoy the Silence" by Depeche Mode, I think he did. He
Personal
did,
Jesus.
yeah, "Personal Jesus," that's what it was, and that was great. And then of course he did "Tainted Love."
Yeah.
He added his little flavor. I remember that video. He comes out of a Cadillac or whatever with his grill all done up and shit. He always had some cool videos, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Very inspired by him.
of course, Johnny Cash's "Turn On the Hurt." That was a great cover. Nine Inch Nail cover. That was really good.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the albums that Johnny Cash did that were covers? He does like the Misfits, Soundgarden, Rusty Cage.
I know. I've heard Rusty Cage.
I think it's like Johnny Cash, America or something, or it might not be called America, but there's like 3 or 4 different ones of them, and they're on Def Jam. Rick Rubin did it, and Rick Rubin was picking these songs for him to do, and like I said, and they're really good covers, though, man. To hear him doing the Soundgarden was great. I really enjoyed that.
I actually moved Johnny Cash's dentist.
His dentist.
Yeah, it was a guy in Nashville. I moved him, and he had his 401k on the walls, bro. Like he had guitars, like he had like a Paul McCartney bass sign.
So he was like a dentist of the stars.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And he was Johnny Cash's personal dentist. I asked him what he was like, and he was like, what you think he was like?" But he had a guitar that Johnny had given him, and it said on it, fuck, what did it say? It said something about "learn to play me" or something on it. I can't remember the quote now. It's been a long time.
Yeah, that's one dude I would like to have got to see in concert was Johnny Cash. He was really cool. Like he seems like he would just be chill.
So that meth gets in his system.
Him and Tom Petty were 2 people that I thought would be cool, but I got to see Tom Petty. Tom Petty was really cool, man. The most boringest set, like it was nothing on the set, and it was Starwood. So it's Tom Petty and his band just up there, and then like I think there was a tree in the background, and that was it. But it's Tom Petty, man. He threw it down, man. It was great. I really enjoyed watching that.
Very underestimated. Tom Petty too.
Oh,
Songwriter, very underestimated.
another one gone too soon.
Yep.
It's he was kind of punk rock back in the fucking 70s. That Damn the Torpedo was really good album. What was the song that he did with Stevie Nicks? It was his song, but
Yeah.
they gave it to her. Blah blah. Yeah, that was to be like, damn, I'm singing backup vocals on my song, but
That's like Prince wrote that Manic Monday for whoever that chick was.
um, is it the Bangles?
Yeah.
He has a record out called Originals, and it's all the songs that he wrote for other artists. And of course, he did song. Of course, the Sinead O'Connor. Everyone always thought that was her song, and it was actually his song.
I gotta admit, her version is better. I like her version better.
Yeah, you're right. It's also I think we enjoy what we're familiar with over what because there's a lot of covers.
Yeah, I was more familiar with hers than
Yeah,
his.
he that guy can. What can he not do? I didn't. It's so. Him and Gwen Stefani kind of were like doing work together, and she's on She's on his Rave album, Rave into the Joy Fantastic album, and she's on one of the tracks. Well, he is on a track of No Doubt. He gave this song, or Gwen gave him this song, and he sent it back. It's a whole different song. It's Prince, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he sings the chorus with her, and it's I was like, wow. When you hear it, you're like, oh, this is a Prince jam because it does not sound like a No Doubt song. There ain't no ska, no little horns, you know. But it was really cool. I was like, wow, Prince worked with fucking Gwen Stefani, and he worked with everybody, man. You know,
I really liked the work he did with the Third Eye Girl band.
that was some good shit. Yeah,
Yeah, that was really good.
He was always really into female artists, you know, like
Who isn't?
yeah, I mean, yeah,
If I could work with if my whole band could be fucking females, yeah.
yeah, right. I mean,
Let's do this. Let's rock.
um, I got to see him twice, and both times he had the same drummer, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a beast, man. But everybody else in the band was all chicks, you know, and but I mean, there's so many artists out there that was basically like his protege, you know, and they're huge artists today. I know him and Lenny Kravitz jammed a lot together, and apparently, what Lenny said recently in an interview that there is an album that they did together, and I'm like, if that album came out, that would be fucking phenomenal. They're both incredible on guitar. They both could sing their asses off. But I'm like, that album is
What if it's not what you expect, though?
that's another thing, you know. And that's like, um, with any artist, like when people pass, their estate wants to fucking release everything that this person had. And Prince, as one of those people, it might take him 20 years to finish a song, and he has all this stuff. And if he hasn't released it, it ain't it's not completed then, you know.
Yeah.
But as a fan, it's still cool to hear a lot of that new shit. You know, there was a song off his new album, Welcome to America, and it was talking about cell phones ruining the world and how we're going to be walking around looking down on our phones. That's what these lyrics he wrote 25 years ago, you know, whatever. And I'm like, they ain't lying, man. Motherfuckers are walking around with their phone heads down walking,
Yep.
you know. Dudes, I read a quote today and I posted it. It said, if I want to hear new music, I just record it. And that was Prince. And I was like, I mean, when you're that cocky and can back it up,
Yep.
you know. And I don't even think it's cocky. He just know he's good, you know.
Want some really good music? I gotta make it.
Yep. What's something that people wouldn't think you listen to?
I mean, I think a lot of people know me by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't listen to a whole lot of angry music.
I think that also that and everyone thinks heavy music's angry music, and it's not.
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
But if you listen to lyrics that are angry and it rubs off on you and your mental state and all that stuff, you know.
I think that's a lot of times what I'm looking for out of the style of music that we write and stuff is that angst and that whatever, you know. But I do listen to a lot of shit like that now, and I have like a little happy playlist. I'm really into like not indie pop, but like electronic alternative music.
Okay, like who?
Like Foles is one of the bands telling you about. I've seen them about 10 times. And some of the bands that they used to roll with a lot was a band called Joywave. Love them.
Okay.
Cage the Elephant.
All right.
Silver Sun Pickups. Like those 4 bands, I kind of followed them around one year, and I hit them like 4 stops in Ohio, and like saw them in Tennessee, and I went down to Florida to see them and shit. It's really cool to see bands like that, like consecutively. You know, like I go see them one night and then get a hotel, and then go see them another night in a different city. But it gave me like that local vibe that we get from going to the warehouse and local shows, you know. And this was at a time when I hadn't been playing music for about 15 years, other than just my bedroom, you know, coming up with stuff. And so yeah, I got really inspired by that year of trips to to go see bands.
I've gotten into some bands that I didn't listen to before. Not because I didn't give them a chance. I didn't feel like it was my cup of tea, you know.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I feel like I started listening to different stuff. Like for instance, like I mean, Coldplay. I mean, I've always listened to Coldplay. I think they're phenomenal. But bands like Oasis,
Love Oasis.
I've listened to more of them. I always listen to like the earlier stuff, but that's about as far as I went. I didn't really go with anything later.
Same.
And but Coldplay, man, they're phenomenal, man. Like
I always hated on Coldplay.
yeah,
I'll tell you what sold me on them was watching a live concert. It had like a concert channel.
uh,
I used to fucking check it all the time, find cool shit. But yeah, I was watching the Coldplay concert, man, and I just watching their live performance, and they had this moment when fucking all the butterflies fucking dropped. You know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah, I love Coldplay. But I'll tell you, fucking oh fuck, what's the name of the song? There's a song that I so could hear like a Sleep Token type cover of Violet Hill.
okay.
You know, Coldplay's Violet Hill.
But I mean, I'm sure I heard it, but
It's a dark song. It's
okay.
like talking about going up to the top of a hill and I guess leaving your lover dead up there or some shit.
What?
I don't know what the fuck it's about, but it's just it has like a dark ominence to it.
Okay.
I could really hear like a good fucking metal cover out of that.
I had that same effect happen to me with the Muse, the band the Muse. I had just there was this live performance of the song off of the first song off that album that they're on tour with, and it was it just blew me away. Like watching this fucking like there's lasers, but their music's going with it when they're chug whatever and sucked me in. So I was like, fuck it. So then I started listening to the Muse, and I'm like, man, these bands are pretty fucking good. Like they're talented bands, you know. You said seeing a band night after night. If you see a band a lot in a row on like say the same tour, you see them how good they can get every night. And that's how I feel that's how a lot of bands get tight is by playing fucking 30, 40 nights, every couple of weeks in a row, and because you're with that you're playing the same songs, you're getting tight. You guys are becoming better musicians at the same time,
Yeah.
Everyone always dogs Metallica. But they're probably one of the tightest bands out there, man. Like every night they're fucking riffing it, like, and they don't. I mean, I saw some videos last year where Kirk fucked up like Unforgiven. He's like, hold on, I'm gonna go back and do this again. But I mean, they're only human, Yeah. But I mean, it's good to see tight bands. But I don't mind seeing some sloppy bands too sometimes.
You like bands with click tracks, or you like bands that are they're playing free?
Both. Because I mean, you already know Primate, Tool, they play with click tracks, you know what I'm saying? But they don't need them. They're that fucking good,
they're tight.
Me, myself, I can't play with them. I cannot fucking do it, man. That shit fucks me up. Like,
never tried it in a live setting.
Did you record?
Yeah. I could play the click track shit, but we've never tried it like on a live show
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I kind of like
the way the rise and fall of the energy of the room, and
that's what I like to do. I always like because you could play 4 shows in back to back. Each show will have a different feel and energy depending on the crowd. It sucks, yes, because you're always told play like the room's always filled, but if it's not full or if it is full, the energy does. You could play your hardest, but if it was like you would be a lot more energy if you had a packed house,
Yep. I mean, it's a connection thing, man.
Yeah,
It happens, and it's the best drug.
It's exactly. You're right.
When there's a crowd that's connected to your music, it's just an energy exchange, man. And there's just nothing like it.
I would love to have that feeling back in the 91 or 92 when Metallica played in front of 1 million plus people in Russia.
Yes. Is that the one that's got the Pantera footage?
Yeah. And that fucking sea is just like, whoa. Me too. And I'm like, you see the music, why it's fucking moving. And I was like, what would that feel like, man? Yes. And to go out there, like, you're probably fucking nervous, but man, it's just like me. Like anytime I played a show, I would get nervous. Don't get me wrong. But as soon as the fucking first note hits, I'm good to go. Yeah. But can you imagine what that energy was coming out of that crowd, man?
That moment and Woodstock, Korn's Woodstock, those 2 moments will live in my
Korn,
head forever.
That intro, and even Fieldy was saying, I think he said it, or Jonathan said it. It was like you just see like the fucking wave of fucking people going up and down because you're saying it,
and the sounds traveling,
echoing, man. You just watch it, just go. Oh, I was like, man.
One day, man. One day.
Yeah. I mean that's the biggest fucking high right there, man.
Yeah, I've actually had like a lot of our best shows are blackout experiences for me. Like the closing of the warehouse when the motherfuckers ripped the fucking railing out of the fucking out of the floor in our
that
set.
was great. That was
that
great.
that night's blacked out to me, dude. Like I can't remember being on stage. Like I wasn't too fucked up. You know what I mean? But just when the energy's right and the crowd's right, it just I go somewhere else, man. And then when it's all over, I'm like, what happened? Like, I can't go back to it in my head. It's just gone.
All right, and I felt like it's like I feel like me. I was a stage whore, but I feel like every time I was on stage, and this is me, I'm not the same person off stage. I have a different feel, energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the way I was up there, and then when I get off stage, it's like, all right, cool, whatever. It's like, but when you're up there, it's a whole different feel. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got people responding to what you're doing. That's the best fucking feeling. You're like jump, and they're like, or you know what I'm saying?
Yes, when it feels like I'm a conductor.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm a conductor of not only the room but my band.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like we all tune in between songs and fuck off or whatever, but like sometimes I can tell when the crowd is in it and I'm like, no, we're not going to lose them. So as soon as we're done with a song, I'll just start on the next one, man, and I'm like, they'll follow me. Like I don't want to lose the momentum that we have over the crowd.
Yeah, because 30 seconds can make a big difference on how a crowd acts.
Yep.
I mean, that's why some of these bands that tour, like Iron Maiden, every fucking song they play back to back is a banger. It's always a crowd favorite, and it's cool to see. And of course, I mean they're a well-oiled machine, so they keep it going. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't even I know what it's like to play in front of a sold out warehouse crowd. That's great. That's a great feeling there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine a venue the size of like, a fucking football field or something, or an amphitheater even,
I played what was it, Riverfest?
Yeah, River or Rival?
Riverfest.
Okay.
I played with Beebs.
Okay.
Beebs Got Soul and shit.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest crowd that I've played in front of. And I was lucky to be standing there, man. My back had went out like the day before.
Oh.
And I tried canceling on them, and they were like, please. And I was like, y'all find me some fucking muscle relaxers because I don't fucking do pain pills. And y'all fucking drop me off at the gate. I'm going to play and I'm going to leave. Like, you know what I mean? So I made it through it, but that was probably the biggest crowd.
Wow.
In front of.
Do you remember Rival Fest across the street back in the early 2000s? They had
yes.
I think they only had one or two, and I think the only one I remember, it was when they flew Lowboy back out. It was Lowboy, FSN, Sub Method, and Flood.
Yes.
And that was so many fucking people at that show.
Those are probably all my favorite local fucking bands from that era.
And you're in a band with somebody from every one of those bands.
Almost. Oh yeah, Yeah. It's a small world, man.
Yeah, I mean it's Clarksville though.
I fuck with Charles all the time, man. I'm like, man, when I was a kid, I was like in my bedroom figuring out y'all's songs and shit. My sister come over and be like, check out this Lowboy song I learned. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Is your sister older than you?
Yeah, she's 10 years older.
Okay.
She was actually a big inspiration on me musically and shit
really?
Growing up. Yeah.
Did she go to school with Charles?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. What kind of stuff was she into?
I know her room, man, used to freak me out as a kid. It was full of like Twisted Sister and fucking that kind of shit. But I do remember she had Prince Purple Rain.
Yeah.
And she had the movie, and that was probably that and the Michael Jackson's Making a Thriller movie. Those are the first two memories I have of anything musical. I was really inspired by those.
Another two great ones to be inspired by,
Yeah, like the Michael Jackson Making of Thriller. Not only is he, amazing fucking songwriter. Those were amazing songs and amazing production that were done on those albums. But the just the behind the scenes shit of them making the zombies and doing the special effects, that really got a hold on me and, probably inspired me being into horror movies and all that kind of shit throughout my youth.
So when I was a child, and that came out, that video came out, it was where we all sat around the television with our family, and everybody in America was watching this fucking the debut of fucking Thriller, this mini movie, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
Like it was fucking incredible, man. And to look at those special effects in the '80s, those were realistic to me.
Yeah.
You know, the wolves and you know, I was like, wow, that shit's scary as fuck. You know, it was great special effects, and then for a couple years, that's how it was. When a big video was going to debut or premiere, it'd be on television like that. You know, I think the only other one I do remember though like that was Black and White in the '90s.
Yeah, it premiered
after The Simpsons.
Yep.
You know, and it's because it was like Macaulay Culkin. Bart Simpson was playing Black or White or whatever, and then
that's right.
Yep. That was pretty cool, man. That was a cool special effect too, because you would turn your head one way, and then it would be like one nationality, and then they turn another way, be another nationality, and then it'd be like it'd be different, you know, sexes and stuff.
Yeah, that was the beginning of that like morphing technology.
He was that guy was. I mean, okay, your third album, I think, Thriller. You know, being his like third album, I think it was. It was like, I think only one song wasn't a single.
Right.
Everything else, I think there's 9 songs, 8 were singles.
Yeah.
And Thriller was not the first one. I think Thriller was like maybe the last song to get off that album. But to imagine to have that biggest album of all time for, I think till Drake took it away, you know? And that was how many years later, you know?
Yeah.
But still, man.
I think it's sad too that there's there's certain things that will just never be topped in history. Like there'll never be another Beatles.
No.
There'll never be another Elvis. There'll never be another Michael Jackson, because just historically what was going on in our times, you know, like there had never been a black artist that had been number one like Michael Jackson. No. You know what I mean? Like it was just, and you put that on top of the talent, it was just everything combined to make that moment what it was, you know.
And him as a singer, and you said talent, that him having to sing and dance all the time, like the whole time he's moving, singing, moving. You can barely hear him being out of breath, you know? It's like, his cardio was insane, you know? And he was not lip syncing. He was not lip syncing, you know what I'm saying? That was real deal. Like, the man had so much power. Like, did you ever see that Super Bowl performance of him? And he literally he teleported around the arena, right? And then he pops up in the middle of the fucking crowd. And then stands there in his pose for what felt like 10 minutes.
Right.
And everybody was just like cheering, and they did not stop. And then the music starts, and then he just does this fucking thing. I'm like, you know, Prince the same way. They can control the crowds, man.
Yeah.
You know, the only person I've seen that I feel has done that now is like The Weeknd. Like I've seen him. I saw him perform a few years back, and he's the same way. He's an entertainer and dancer. Different. I mean, he's same way. He's songwriter, writes the music. You know, he's not as great of a dancer as Michael, but that's like, wow. It's cool to see people be able to control crowds still, though. You know, especially one person. You know, like, can you imagine being like, okay, Taylor Swift, one fucking female, has sold out for the last year, but what she has in that fucking crowd, that the control that she has of these kids and, well, grown folks too, you know, I'm like, geez, man.
I don't get it, but you know, I give credit where credit's due. But.
She's the new, like, I guess you would say she's like this new era's maybe she's not even a Britney.
No.
There's no one been like her. You know, yeah, the kid's insane. She's a kid. Well, she's in her 30s.
So how about the conspiracy of her being Anton LaVey's daughter? Have you seen that floating around?
No.
Yeah, bro, you should look into that. She looks like a clone version of Anton LaVey's daughter, the creator of the Church of Satan.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Things that make you go, I'm gonna get you canceled on your first show.
Hell yeah.
Fuck you, Illuminati.
Yeah. Oh man, that one I'm not going there on that one.
We're gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah,
This mic's hot.
Yeah.
Oh wait, they're coming in here to pull me out, guys.
Who cares about cancellations? Let's see here. What's in your current music rotation?
A lot of Knock Loose I've been listening to recently. I got on the Sleep Token last year, but I've kind of weaned off of it a little bit.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, really.
Or what's your top 5 artists currently?
That's a good question.
Yeah, same thing. Huh?
It changes. Yeah, it's so randomly.
All right, 5 bands that would describe you.
Marilyn Manson, Korn, Pantera, Pink Floyd. Tupac.
All right.
To throw that contrast in there, that's definitely me, man.
That's pretty cool.
I'll tell you, I share a birthday with Bob Marley and Axl Rose.
Okay.
And Ronald Reagan. And I feel like that says so much about my personality, man. Because, like, I am super chill.
Yeah.
Woman lover, fucking hippie, like fucking Bob Marley.
Yeah.
I do have a little touch of, like, fucking egomaniac that I keep under control and fucking shit like Axl. And you never know, I might jump off stage and whoop a motherfucking security guard's ass.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, the Ronald Reagan side of me where, like, I'm kind of old traditionalist in a way, you know, like my family's parents are kind of old, so I appreciate where the world was back in the 80s and 90s, like just as far as
Reagan during that Reagan era, man, they got a lot of cool punk rock and angry music back then. People, you know, a lot of political music. Tupac's a good one. That's pretty. I like that Tupac. Okay.
Really inspired by Tupac, man. I don't know, just the passion that he has. You know,
went from a backup dancer to one of the greats. You know, I mean, I like a lot of the '90s. I like a lot of hip hop, but like as far as like the '90s, I like Biggie. I like Pac.
Me too.
You know,
Dre, Snoop.
Yeah, all of them. You know, You know, I like. Yeah. I mean, I just like good hip hop.
Me too. A lot of my hip hop playlist is just random one hit wonders of, you know, searching fucking something and something else pops up. I'm like, oh man, I love that beat or this or that. One thing I love about hip hop is they took a lot of older music, which I admire, you know, like classic soul records and funk records. And, you know, not only did they make them more current, but they made them sound a whole fucking lot better. You know what I mean? Like the recordings of those songs back in the day, just the technology wasn't there, and they've remastered these songs, so now you get like a quality out of these older riffs and shit. You know,
I always like that about like the hip hop is because, like you said, they take songs and older songs and then they add their lyrics and stuff, and they redo that, make a beat and stuff, and then if you didn't know that was an older song, and when you heard that song, you're like, whoa, and then you respect, then you're like, all right, I respect this song too. You know, it's like, it's funny because like I've seen these videos on like TikTok and stuff. It'd be like a younger kid and then their dad, and they'll be playing like a newer song with like an old beat, and they're like, what is this? You know, it's a new song, and then the dad would be like, no, this is what it sounds like, and they're like, you know, it's like. I didn't realize they were still sampling new music. I thought they were just making beats without sampling. But there's not a lot of new rap that I like though. I mean,
I agree.
There's a few artists out there like I like some Kendrick Lamar. I like him.
Like Kendrick.
Yeah, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I like Wale. Of course, I mean I you know, of course, what's his name? Wiz Khalifa. I liked him. You know what I'm saying? But some of the newer stuff just not my cup of tea. I mean, I can understand why people do like it though. You know, I get it.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously a reason why these people have them over millions of plays because they make something, doing something good.
At least we're getting past the mumble rap shit.
Yeah.
Slowly, and the fucking auto tune shit.
You know, and the funny, you know, it's so funny about auto tune. It's because it was actually supposed to be called the Cher effect, and she was the first one to ever use it in that song. Do you believe in love? Yeah.
I love South Park's fucking version.
South Park. You know, they still are relevant.
Yeah, I love South Park. One of the best shows ever.
So I have a buddy who lives out in Denver, and they got that restaurant, the South Park restaurant,
That's right.
Casa. What the heck's it called? Anywho, but when I went out there, I was like, "Can we go there? Can we go there and eat?" And my homie's like, "Yeah, but you gotta be on the waiting list. So you gotta put your email in, and then it's lottery. They pick your name out, and then I never got picked or anything. I put in like 7 different email addresses and shit, you know. But it
Give
would
'em
have been cool to
fake,
eat.
fake funny names and shit.
Yeah, I go. I have so many. I use my old band emails and all this shit. Old booking agent. I could have kept going, but I was like, I ain't making no more damn email addresses, you know. But but I also heard though, like the food's good. I heard, but uh, you don't tip the servers. The servers get an hourly wage, which is a good thing, but and a bad thing. Because I mean, you figure if you're a server and you're used to working getting tips, you know, you can make some good tips. And you might work 5 hour shift at $20 an hour, and you're walking home with $100. Not that day, you know. Have you ever been a server?
Yeah, I've spent most of my life in some sort of fashion where I get side money and shit.
Yeah, and it's so much easier to get having the money in your hands at that point, you know.
And like I don't know, I kind of believe some days like the universe wants to throw you a kick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got good karma on your back, and like I feel like you receive that sometimes when you're in the right position
uh,
to be able to do it. So,
exactly. Yeah, and I mean, because I mean, you watch people, you could be at the right place at the right time, and somebody could, you know, you get $400, you know, or you know,
right?
I mean, I feel like karma's a good thing at times, and it's a bad thing, but I like the good part of it.
Me
You
too.
know. Yeah, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to go eat there though. But no, South Park, man. I was a late bloomer on South Park, and you know, I say that and it's funny because like I've been around since it started, and I was a late bloomer on it. Like I didn't start watching it till probably about 10 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I
Just
mean, I knew all the bits and stuff, like the fucking Jennifer Lopez and all that stuff, you know, the Tom Cruise and all that. But it's so crazy to see that it's still running today. It has not been canceled.
right.
Them two of all the people that have been canceled, they have not been canceled. Which I don't.
How
I
do
think.
you
I
how
think
do
it's.
you cancel South Park? Right.
How do you cancel somebody who doesn't give a fuck about being canceled?
Right.
You know.
It's kind of how I feel, but I do have I don't know I do have a lot of hang ups sometimes where I just feel like I hope people don't think I'm an asshole or people think I'm like inconsiderate or something. You know, like I don't know. I self reflect a lot and I worry about what people think. But
I've been doing that a lot lately of myself. But as for I mean for you, like you've always been a pretty chill dude. Like
you too.
you're pretty chill always, and like you know, you don't ever have a bad thing to say about anybody. You're just every time I've seen you out, you know, you've been you know you're just chill. You know, I don't know if you have a good buzz going or if you have a good buzz going. You know.
Yeah. Sometimes it's anxiety too, where I'm
Yeah.
just like, not a good room talker, I guess. Sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes me neither, man. And people might sometimes take that as being stuck up, but
Right.
you know,
I hope I'm never
no.
perceived that way.
And sometimes, man, too. Like, there's sometimes before a show, like I'm out there talking to everybody,
Right.
but then there's sometimes you don't want to talk to nobody. You just want to
Same.
relax.
Same.
And I used to carry my headphones with me and just put my headphones in and just go sit outside or sit in the car or sit somewhere, you know, and just mellow out. Um,
Get your head right for the game.
And sometimes sometimes if it's a show that you want to be like, all right, I gotta make sure I give it my all. You want to be in your best you know, and you want to mellow out and chill. And I started doing that um, when the band before us would play or you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's my time to get warmed up, get stretched out, you know, get my zone, you know, take that last piss break, you know,
Yep.
drink a beer, smoke some blunt or whatever, you know. But yeah, like I said, yeah, you said that earlier about you know chill and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, you always been a chill dude in my eyes. So,
Sweet.
but
That's all this weed.
what made you want to play music though, man?
I don't know, man. It must have been born in me. But I will tell you, when I was probably 6, 7, 8, around that age, I was in the hair bands, Bon Jovi, Poison, Def Leppard, that stuff. And in the summers, I would stay with my cousins, and we used to have like those toy guitars had nylon strings.
Yeah, yeah.
We would fucking grab those and we would pretend we were making a music video in the living room, and fucking dress the part, you know what I mean, and get into it. And I'd always do like not necessarily karaoke in my bedroom as a kid, but I'd be in my bedroom like singing Bon Jovi and just picturing myself singing in front of fucking 5,000 people and
Oh, yeah.
really getting into the emotional trance of it, if you will. Um, so I mean, I think I just always wanted it from as young as I can remember, man.
Yeah, it's a it's always a childhood dream. Some people want to be actors, some people want to be musicians, you know.
Yep.
Um I didn't even want to play music. I mean, I wanted to play music. Don't get me wrong. I want to play music, and my story is kind of generic. It's like, oh, Nikki Six. I want to be like fucking Nikki Six, you know, because I was into hair metal and stuff, and still I am. But like Nikki Six, I thought he was just so fucking cool, you know, like just fucking out there with he had his little makeup and his hair all teased up, and he's fucking playing his bass that was like a Jack Daniels bottle and shit, you know, and then watching like CC DeVille, even though he was a guitar player, not a bass player. I still wanted to be that dude. I'm like, man, that dude's fucking cool, you know. And I got a bass. My mom bought me like a Sears Roebuck like bass, you know, and I didn't have an amp, so I would take it to the wall and like play the strings so it vibrated the
Right.
walls, you know. And like after a week, the tuning peg broke off, and so we went to go take it to a music store, and they're like, it'd be probably better for you just to buy a real bass. This isn't obviously it's probably their pitch, you know. So I bought me a Fender, an Ibanez bass, and I had it, never really played it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be a musician. And it wasn't until Slaughter and Pain, man, that I started playing fucking music. They're the ones that they created a monster. But I like it. That's fun. Something I never thought I'd do. I got a late start, you know.
Yeah, you did.
And 20 years later, you know.
Um, so I know. I guess I had a turning point in life, but even before I played music in any fashion, um, I was coming up with like band names and album covers and songs. Me and my buddy would call each other and talk on the phone. Like, dude, I came up with a song. Didn't even have any fucking instruments, but I think around the time The Crow came out, that fucking soundtrack, man, that just flipped me in a different direction. My buddy was starting to get turned on to his dad's like Ozzy records, so that pulled me into Black Sabbath. It was a whole different world. So then we were like Bill and Ted, like, bro, we got to get good, you know. So we started begging for guitars and shit, and I got a guitar, and like you said, my guitar sat in the corner for 6 months, man. I didn't know what to do with it. I would just, to be honest, I didn't even know that you could press the frets to like change the notes.
Really?
I would just fucking strum on it. And then finally my parents got me lessons. I took lessons for about 2 months.
We're at Collins.
No, it's Keynote. Keynote Music.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so I went in there.
Is that local? Was that locally?
Yeah, it was on Craft Street.
Okay.
It was a little shopping mall there. But dude was trying to teach me like the Mel Bay book, like chords and all that boring shit. And I was like, I went in one day and I was like, I don't want to do this, man. I want to drop out. And he's like, why? I was like, it's not. I'm not learning what I want to learn. He's like, what do you want to learn? And I was like, I want to play like Metallica songs, Nirvana songs, and shit. He's like, well, how about this? We'll split the lesson up. Half of the lesson we'll go through the book, teach you fundamentals. The other half I'll teach you how to play a riff. Like, bet.
All right.
So we did that for a couple months, and then he moved. And when he moved, man, I just didn't find another teacher, and I had kind of already learned, enough to give me a good starting point. And then I joined my first band, which was called Relic. And
RELIC.
RELIC, yes, sir.
Yep.
And our first show was opening up for Flood.
Wow.
At the fucking Retro Cafe.
Wow, the Retro, huh?
My very first show was opening up with Mark. He opened up for Mark's band.
That's funny, man. Now you're in Mark's band.
Yep.
We're talking about the music. So you had my very first you talk about not having, we have names and stuff. I have a book. Still, I have this book with all these names. And the fucking crazy thing is, none of these names have still to this day been on a level that I've seen. Like, to you, if they're indie band or what indie name. But I'm like, holy crap, all these names are still here. They were dumb names. They were dumb. They were dumb. But they were like, oh, this would be a cool punk rock name,
Right.
I ain't no, I'm not even saying them. But there was a band I was in. None of us played it. We all played instruments, but we never practiced one time. But we were going to record a song next week, right? It's called Tremor, right? And I have the original logo still. TREMR. That was it. It stood for Thor, Russ, Erica, Mike, and Ryan. That's what Tremor stood for. Okay. Well, we made this song. We recorded it. We had $200 to make this one song. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm playing the drums. So I went and bought drumsticks, right? Didn't have a drum set at all, and I'm playing on my pillow and shit, practicing my whatever we're playing. I don't even know what we're playing. Well, we go to the studio. It was in the guy's garage. I'm like, all right, playing the drums. And I played the song, right? And we had a guitar guy. He played guitar, bass, everybody, right? We get done with the song, and that's all we had enough money for. We listened to it, and they're like, "Did you use the kick?" And I was like, oh, I didn't feel like the song needed a kick drum. I played the whole song with no kick drum. I was hitting the high, and I was like, do on the toms and shit, and never used the kick drum. I thought I was a good drummer at that point. I didn't need it in that song.
Fake it till you make it.
And I have that song somewhere, and it's horrible. But it was good. That was my first time. I thought I was in a fucking band. I was like, yeah. I was like 16. And then fucking, when I turned 30, I joined the band again, Man, it's always cool, man, when you're a kid. I you said you used to sit in your room and, not really doing like, karaoke or whatever, or you perform or whatever. I thought when I was younger, I was 8 years old, so I don't know where my mind was at. But I felt like I was going to be a stripper or something. So I'm sitting there taking my shirt off and had a fish tank in my room, right? And I'm dancing, right? And I had this fucking belt. It has my name, Russ, on it. It's a big brass belt buckle. And I fucking yanked the fucking belt off. And I don't even know how I knew how to do this shit. Because, I never knew what a fucking stripper did or whatever. I was 8 years old or whatever. I fucking slid the belt and it slid out of my hand. And you heard, fucking water, fish everywhere. My mom comes running in. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, nothing. She goes, she see I was like my pants barely off. She's like, were you stripping in here? And you threw your belt at the fish tank? And I was like, no. And I look, and my rust belt buckle is sitting in the fish tank with the water just overflowing. And I was like, well, yeah, I guess I was. So I knew at that point in my life that I would never be a male stripper because I could not do. I'd probably kill somebody.
That's a scene in a movie, right? It
is, right?
That's great.
You ever feel like that sometimes? I always feel like that. I think about it. Like sometimes I feel like I'm in a movie. When I was a kid, I thought people could, if I could see you on TV, that they could see us. Yeah. And I'd be like, so if I was getting in trouble, I'd be like, I'd go hide somewhere and they couldn't see me,
Bro, I actually had a really bad complex with that. But, to my accord, I was taking about fucking 10 hits of acid a week. So, but yeah, dude, it was, I don't know, it was a rough time, man. I thought I was in the Truman Show. I'd come home fucking wigging out, man. And I'm fucking watching TV and, turn it on and fucking TV's like, yeah, that's what hardcore drugs do to people. And I'm like, all right, change the channel. He was at his parents' house. He had no girlfriend. Change the channel. Everything was just coming at me, dude. And yeah,
that was some good shit.
Yeah, bro. like I said, that was some rough time when I had to figure out what the fuck was going on in my own head, and it's taken me a long time to figure out what triggers me and what to watch out for. And
it is crazy. It's so weird though that a lot of us have the same kind of thoughts. Like you were saying, thought you were on the Truman Show, or whatever. It's like when I watch those movies though, even when you're older as an adult, because that's when the Truman Show came out, and there was another one of those movies too. There was a Truman Show, and then there was
Fight Club. Fucked me up a little bit.
Oh man, yeah, but I mean, those must have been some good drugs too, because he had a whole fucking imaginary friend the whole time, Yeah, that was a good shit.
Good era of movies.
good era music and movies, like the late '90s, early 2000. You know, it's like I think there was so much good music all around. Honestly, you know, everything from metal to hip hop to R&B to even fucking dance music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the would you say that the 2000s, that era, like early 2000s, is similar to the 80s, where you have a lot of one hit wonders? They're
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um,
I think every era has some one hit wonders, but yeah,
and those one hit wonders are always the fucking songs that you can't get out of your fucking head.
yeah.
You know, like
Hey, I would take it, man. If only one of my songs fucking
stuck it.
made me
Yeah.
fucking bought me a house, I'll take
Oh
it all
yeah,
day.
yeah, totally, man. It's like Vanilla Ice, you know, with Ice Ice Baby, dude. That made your money,
Yeah.
you know. And he's still living off that money.
Dude,
You
I
know?
love him too. I don't know if you watch his
Flippin' show.
yeah.
Yeah,
I love that show.
it's him and his mom, right?
Him and his what?
Isn't it his and his mom? Well, I think for the show it's
Oh, yeah.
him, but I think like the company, like in
Right,
Florida, it's him and his mom.
I didn't know
And
that.
I believe they have the biggest flipping company in Florida. But he has some insane cars.
Yeah, I seen that recently, his car collection.
Yeah, there was it was some big rapper's car he has, and was it might have been Snoop Dogg's car or something, but he had like this killer lowrider, and it was like, this is the one from blah blah blah's video. I'm like, what? But
Insane.
yeah, I you know he tried to go the metal route, you know, when he did like the cold as ice or whatever it's called, Vanilla Ice, too cold or something, you know. He did like
Yeah.
the metal version of Ice Ice Baby, you know, the new metal version, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit. Um,
To the extreme. Word to your mother.
go ninja, go ninja, go.
Go
If is there one song that you hear every time that takes you back to a place?
Yeah, fucking just about every song. That's
Yeah.
why I love music, man.
Exactly, because that you hear something, you're like, you can remember what you were doing. I can't remember yesterday, but I can hear a song that I listened to and I heard it like 40 years ago, and I can remember what I was, you know what I'm saying? Not
And
really.
it's so random. It's almost like a dream. It's almost like remembering a dream. You know, like Typo Negative. Sometimes I'll listen to Typo Negative, and I just remember being like 16 years old, sitting on my deck, fucking listening to the trees blow, and just everything's green around me, and like fucking I don't know, man. It's just a vibe, you know. And that's all I'm ever trying to do
When you write.
creatively is I'm trying to capture a vibe. You know, like you play something and I hear what you're playing and I'm like, what kind of vibe can I bring to this? And that's just all about vibes, man.
Is there? This is hard because there is. It's like there's nothing like hearing a song for the first time, right? Like you hear a song for the first time, like holy shit. Is there a song that every time you listen to it, you feel like, wow, this is that like the first time I heard it, like, or is that something that wears off?
No, I don't think it wears off. I don't think it does. That's something I was actually wanting to start. You know how people start the name 10 albums, you know, that
Yeah.
inspired you. I would like to know 10 songs that just stopped you dead in your tracks. 10 songs that, you know, the first time you heard it, whatever fuck you were doing, you were like, I've got to fucking absorb this.
Yeah.
Because I know I have many songs like that, and yeah, they still give me that feeling.
I don't have many, but there's albums and if you got obviously if you know me, you know how big of a Prince fan I am. Every time I hear fucking Purple Rain, it just
Same.
I get goosebumps, dude. It's just like it's a flawless record, start to finish, and it's just like every time I hear it, it's like I'm hearing it again for the first time. You know, it's just like fuck, it's and I was young when I first heard it. You know, I had bought it for my mom for Christmas. I heard a cassette tape. You know, and I didn't really know. I knew the couple songs, you know, but when I got older, like in my teens, I actually sat down and listened to that record, and I was just like, wow. And that's how I feel now when I listen to it, like I was in my teens when I listened
Yep.
to it, you know. And Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy. That record does it for me too, like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, man,
That one takes me back to an era, but
it's a good. And I've had some good times with that record and some bad times, but it, like you said, it's a time. It's a time. You know, like it reminds me of the mid '90s for me because that album was everywhere, and every one of my friends listened to it. No matter what music you listen to, you know, you were listening to that album, and it's just like,
yeah.
man. Yeah, and I know your answer to this is probably a lot, but what is one album that you can just be like, this is it, and I can just be happy with this album for the rest of my life?
Several.
Ah,
There's several. I know for sure, like Pink Floyd's The Wall. Um, and Christ Superstar.
great record.
Yep.
Great record, start to finish.
Yep. Typo Negatives, October Rust, mm, Downward Spiral. Be one of those.
Yeah,
Be one of those.
I got you. I talk about Nine Inch Nails often with people, and I love the progression of Trent from Pretty Hate Machine to what's out there now,
Yeah.
and it's like he's such an artist, you
Yep.
know. I didn't get it. I got into Pretty Hate Machine when it came out. I didn't know what it was about. This is when I was just buying random music and shit. But this is when like EMF and those kind of bands are out, you know,
Right.
and so all the teased hair and shit, you know. But at the same time, they were kind of going to baggy clothes, and I would see all the guys with the teased hair, like Robert Smith, and they would be wearing this Nine Inch Nails shit. I'm like, that's just a cool logo, you know. The NIN was just a cool fucking logo,
Right.
you know. And so I went and bought it, and I was like, fuck, this is a great record. And then when I heard the next record, Broken, I was like, ooh, it's a little different. You know, it was more heavy, you know. And I was like, I didn't know what I thought about it. And then it came out with like a remix version called Fixed. I'm like, oh, I can get down with this. And then you know it just keeps changing. You know, Downward Spiral. You know, I mean,
That's when
to the Fragile, to the you know, everything's just a different record, man. He's he's a genius, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and now look at him, man. He's scoring great movies and shit. You know, another album I think would be that was a flawless record like that. Not flawless, but like an album that I'm like, okay,
Start to finish.
would be fucking Angel Dust by Faith No More.
Yeah.
You know, that was a great record.
Yeah. I like their Who Cares a Lot Greatest Hits would probably be my favorite album by them.
I mean, everything's a banger on there.
Yeah,
You know,
everything.
even the early stuff. You know, the We Care a Lot album itself. That album, like fucking 84, 85. That one, they were still ahead of their time back then with Chuck on vocals. You know, and
Yeah.
wow, they were. You know, that's a band. That's a vocalist that he doesn't even know how much he can do with his voice. You know, the
Truly.
opera shit he does, everything he does is phenomenal.
Yeah. He's got one of the highest ranges in the industry.
Do you ever listen to his orchestra? I mean, not orchestra, like opera stuff he's done.
I've seen some of it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
my cup of tea, but it's
Just to see what that man can do, though. You know, what
Yeah.
can he do? You know.
yeah. Maynard is another one. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
has such control over his voice. Have you seen like the newest post he made today for his 60th birthday? Oh, dude, you'll have to watch it.
Well, I know. The only thing I've seen on him in the last couple of days was Primus, Pucifer, and
Perfect Circle.
are doing a split.
The three P's.
Yeah. Oh,
The PPP.
Yeah. They're doing a split.
So yeah, he made a video of him in a hospital bed and like this nurse tending to him, and he's acting all old. He's like, "I'm in a baroque band. We're going tour. It's the three P's. We're going PPP." It's fucking funny, man.
Have you ever seen Tool?
No, man. I really wanted to like surprise my girlfriend and go to this show that's coming up.
I've never seen Perfect Circle. I've seen Tool a few times.
Yeah. Not Tool, but I wanted to take her to see Perfect Circle and Pucifer.
Tool was here. What, February? Where did you here? Like, no, Pantera was February. They were at the same time. They were here too. Yeah, it was in February. Tool was. Yeah.
Was it? I've never seen him. I've never seen Maynard live. I'd love to.
Tool's really cool live. I'm not really into Pucifer.
That's probably one of my favorite
Really?
projects of his.
Did you go ever see him?
Mm-mm.
I know years ago he was in Nashville when he released that book, and they were doing the Pucifer tour, and then the book signing, and
I didn't go to that, but I remember that.
Mike Tyson currently was training at his gym this week or last week. Because Maynard has that. He's on a Muay Thai, and he's like a black belt or whatever.
What a fucking ambitious guy, man. He's just into everything. Like, I admire people that live their fucking life,
You listen to his? Did you ever listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with Maynard?
Yes.
There's a couple of them out there, but he's just like, he's out there, but he's just like, he seems like a chill fucking dude. He just doesn't want to be fucked with, Like, I'll play my music. Let me fucking grow my grapes. Let me fucking do my fucking this, It's like him and Les Claypool are kind of like the same person, I think. Can you imagine if they did something together?
Yeah, they're supposed to.
Really?
They're gonna not only are they on tour, but they're gonna release like a EP.
Yeah,
3 songs by each band, and then like I guess Maynard wrote all the songs.
Wow. Les Claypool, that's a guy you can just talk about for hours, man. This good question to me. We've already been out there, but if you can go back to, this is anywhere now. If you go back to any one particular part of time, where would you go? Doesn't have to be your life. Any part of time.
Just one moment in time.
Yep. Where would you want to go?
Could I be anybody, or would I still be myself?
You can be anybody.
It'd probably be fucking Jonathan Davis at Woodstock, man. Just coming out with fucking Blind. Just seeing that crowd, dude.
I always picture their vision. Like what they're thinking,
Yeah. You can tell, man, when he hits that, like the anxiety behind that, you can feel it just fucking oozing out of him, man.
I saw footage the other day from 2003. So they weren't even a band 10 years yet. They were just coming up on the 10-year mark. I guess they were a band already. 94 is when Korn came out, the self-titled. But that's self-titled, and then what album was that one? But their style changed so much too,
Yeah.
And I like Korn,
Haven't liked everything they've done, but
I didn't like
a lot.
I didn't like the electronic album they did with Skrillex.
Me either. And a couple like before and after that, really, I didn't.
They were another one of those covers. They did a lot of covers too.
Yeah.
They did some cool covers though. They did the one Wicked by Ice Cube. That was pretty fucking cool. My favorite song by them, it's not even by them. It is them. It's Fred Durst and Jonathan Davis going back and forth on All in the Family. That was pretty fucking cool.
I got to meet Korn like around that time.
Really?
All in the Family. You remember the Family Values tour? Well, they did like a press tour before it.
Okay.
And they like went around to music shops and they like set up and shit. And, I went when I was, I guess, a junior in high school. I got to give them a demo of fucking Relic and shit.
That's pretty fucking cool, man. I don't know if you know. Wow, we've gone. I don't know if you remember doing this kind of stuff. Did you ever go to Tower and buy records? Like not buy records, but did you ever go like to the release nights, like at midnight when they would drop the records and then?
No, I never did.
That was pretty cool. I believe music used to come out on Tuesdays, right? And then,
yes.
So Monday night you go down to Tower Records in Nashville, and everybody be a line, and at midnight they let you in, and then you cool. Buy the shit, because that's how you got the music back then. You know what I'm saying? So I did that for a few different albums, but we went and did that for Mechanical Animals, and so we went down there, and it was like wow. That was probably one of the first albums I actually did that for. I always wanted to go do it for Metallica or something, but I did do it for Metallica. Saint Anger, everyone's hating on the album, which to me I love the album. But CD Warehouse did it at midnight, and I got the CD with the DVD in there and shit. It was pretty cool. I was like, that was some fun times back then, like waiting for records.
Days.
Now fucking, it's cool still, but yeah, it's different times, man. I I wish that they would do that with like vinyl though, like maybe like and vinyl maybe I know they do a lot of cool stuff with like release day stuff. Um,
Nice to see vinyl making a comeback.
yeah, and some people never went anywhere, but
Yeah.
it. I mean, because you had your diehards out there, and I could never be one of the diehards because it's an expensive hobby,
Yeah.
you know. But it is cool to see some. I'm sure some people say not everything needs to be pressed on vinyl. Like not every single version of Taylor's version need to be pressed on vinyl. Someone said that when all that was going on, it put a delay on all the pressing plants.
Yeah.
That's always been my dream though, is have something on vinyl. I
Yeah.
got CD, I got a cassette. I
Yeah.
just want a vinyl.
Yeah. Me too. I looked up pricing for the album, but
It's not the pressing it's not the pressing that costs the money. It's the press, the big press that melts it into the vinyl.
yeah.
The vinyl don't cost much to get pressed, but it's just you got to pay for that press, and then what do you do when you're done with it?
Yeah.
I always wanted that though. What's a movie that you can go back to and just watch it over and over and over again?
Fucking The Crow, Dazed and Confused, Fight Club. Those are probably my top three. Fear and Loathing, another one.
Um, I can go back and watch The Breakfast Club over and
Nice.
over and over and over. Because when I lived in Germany, we didn't have cable because they didn't have cable then, and they only had one channel, for the military at that time, unless you're rich and you got satellite. So we had just a few VHSs, and on Breakfast Club was one movie I watched every fucking day when I got home from work, and then it went to Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I watched that every fucking day. And then there's certain movies that I would watch over and over. But
The
yeah,
Doors.
The
You
Doors, man, phenomenal movie.
Yeah. Val Kilmer lives in my head
As Jim Morrison.
Yep,
I cannot see him in any other movie except for Jim Morrison. Great movie, great, and it was a great collection of music on the soundtrack too. I thought.
And he worked so hard on that role and shit, man. And he like made some recordings, and they sent the recordings to the band, and the band couldn't tell him apart from Jim and shit.
Wow, that's pretty fucking cool. I like the Doors a lot. They were one of the bands that got me through high school.
Me too.
Um,
There's no other band like them still to this day.
No.
There's no other Doors band.
no, when I was in, like most of us in high school, you go through your depression stage, and as adults, we're in those phases still, but because you think you outgrow them when you're a kid. But the Doors, man, I would just jam the Doors, and man, everything felt all right. Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison were my two people I fucking listened to all the time when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And even to this day, I got fucking Jim Morrison poetry books and other books, and he was just one of those dudes, and he was he was way ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Very intelligent man.
Yeah. One of my biggest idols.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider myself a poet, but I'm inspired by words and poetry.
Me, I can I don't figure a lot of it out, but when I sit there and read poetry and stuff, I'm just like, it takes me a while, but then I'm like, fuck, this dude fucking somebody wrote this, and like it's making me think on how to fucking figure it out. Kind of like lyrics. I heard a quote the other day about the songs. When you release your song out into the wild, it's not your song no more. Cause now everyone has their own interpretation of it.
Yep.
And what you might have been feeling something great about, someone else might look at it as a whole nother meaning in it, or something, it's like, that's why music is so special, because everybody interprets it differently.
Yep.
Lyrics especially, and it is true though. Like, like all your music now is everybody's music.
Yep. And honestly, it's made it easier to like play some of those songs over and over again.
Even the ones that were hard to write.
Right, because the emotional connection that I had to those songs has kind of gone, and it's become what other people have told me, and the feeling I get watching people's reaction to these songs.
Yeah, and then when you're singing them, and the people out there are singing them back to you, you're like, fuck, man, like this has reached these people too. And that's really cool, man. That's one thing about music. That's why music is the heartbeat of the world, man.
And somebody could discover our music 20 years from now,
Oh
and
yeah.
it still be new to them, and that's just there's nothing else like that, really.
Well, for me, I talk about this band all the time because I'm proud of it, But out of for Taken Under to not have been a band for probably almost 7 years now, and having 270 monthly listeners on Spotify, that's cool. We haven't been a band for 7 years, and
Right.
most of this stuff was just put up over the last couple of years. But I'm like, that's pretty cool, that people still listen. I don't know who's listening. I know where they're listening. I just
Right.
want to,
It's cool if you have like the Spotify for Artist app. You can go in
Yep.
there and you can see like what countries your song's getting played in.
For the longest time, for us, it was Switzerland or Sweden or something like that.
Right.
Like, okay. And then it was Pakistan, which I'm like, all right, cool, little snake charmers and shit, And I think now it's like Helsinki or Finland or something like that, which is weird because like that people like that's our number one country, or it's like, all right,
It's
that's
random.
cool, yeah.
It's really cool how it spreads like that.
Um,
But we don't get paid shit for it.
no, but I guess anything's better than nothing. I guess I don't fucking know. That's everyone can dog Metallica, dog Lars, but Lars was right.
Yeah.
I've heard that somebody in the music business paid him to say all that because they couldn't say it because they would get backlashed. But did it hurt them? Did what Lars say actually hurt Metallica? No, he was just warning everybody.
Yeah.
And he was right, man.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to digital music.
For sure. It is nice just to be able to like
Have your phone.
You have your phone, upload your own shit within a matter of 24 hours. I could make a song tonight and put it up tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's what I was talking about the other day. It's like, all right, so nowadays you can write a song about something that happened yesterday in America. Okay, next song, go up there. You didn't have that back in the day. You couldn't write it. You wanted to say it. You had to write it, record it. Then you had to either get it on a cassette tape or a CD, and then somebody had to burn it to make you copies so people could buy. And that was a process,
Yeah.
But I like being able to walk around my phone and having any song I want on there,
For sure. Fuck batteries and Walkmans and jogging with
Bro.
a damn fucking CD player.
I used to have my little cassette one, and I would carry I wouldn't carry the cassette case. I'd take the tapes out and I had like 6 or 7 in my pocket, and then I have my little fucking headphones and shit, be like walking, And then it fucking gets eat up or whatever. But no, or the Discmans, That's the crazy shit there. But yeah, I like having and it don't skip. They don't skip. That's the best part.
Yeah,
no skipping.
no skipping. I've fucking punched some dashes over a skipping CD. Before. Don't fuck with my music when I'm trying to enjoy it. That'll piss me off quick.
Why do we get so mad over a scratched piece of plastic? We would get so mad over that piece of plastic that would skip because it's like the music was good. It wasn't the fucking music. It was the piece of plastic. And people were like, "Oh, we go get it buffed out for $20, man, or whatever." They used to buff them out and shit. Yeah, gosh, yeah. Now you just walk around, and I also I've learned about so much more music just by listening to something like on say Spotify, and then it ends, and then something else will come on. I'm like, "Oh, well, who's this band?" I really like that. I like that concept. Do you use the streaming services?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you use?
I use Spotify. I was so for the longest time I was on Google Play, I think is what it was called.
That didn't last long, did it?
I was on it for a few years,
Yeah.
but like you said, it was such a process, dude. Because I'd fucking upload shit to like the cloud, but then when I uploaded it, like it made the fucking album image be small, so I'd have to like go find a file and upload it to something else to fucking make it perfect. But
oh yeah, I was in all about that shit myself. Like, it had to be the right size because you didn't want to pixelate it.
Yeah, like I want an HD resolution and album cover. It's a cool album cover.
Yeah. Even if it's only on my iPod, I still want it to be crystal clear.
Amen. Amen.
I was doing that forever, and I would type to make sure the song titles were all perfect and shit.
Yep, I'd have to every time I would upload it to one or the other, it would fucking change the titles. Yeah.
That's so funny. Remember Winamp? No, it was like an MP3 type player back then. It's before because there was no streaming service except for Napster back then. You would download from Napster and you had to either your music media player or whatever you had you would use.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's crazy. Well, Mark, man, this was pretty cool. Did you enjoy yourself?
I did. We didn't talk about my new boobs.
Oh, well, the reason why they're out in front of me right now is because you thought you were going to be on video.
Yeah.
How much did they cost?
Next time. They were cheap. I got them at the Home Depot behind the dumpster.
The Home Depot behind the dumpster.
Yeah. There's a handyman back there injecting people with cement and shit.
So. Oh, nice. They're a little heavy then, huh?
Yeah.
I thought they were a little perky.
This has been fun, man.
Yeah. Where can everybody catch you at?
Nero Vatra next show coming up at the P Patch on the 30th of this month. And then Modern Primate, we got a back-to-back shows April 11th and 12th. I believe the 11th we're playing at the Flavor 90s Club in Nashville.
I just was told about that place. Looks pretty fucking cool inside there.
It looks cool. I haven't been there yet either.
I might have to figure out how to get to either one of y'all show or a Vatra show.
Yeah, and then we're playing the P Patch the following night with Mass Hatred and Symptom of the Universe.
Black Sabbath cover band, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guitar player is Jay, is his name?
Yeah, Jay Thompson.
He's from here. He's from Clarksville. Yeah, next time you see him, ask him about a band called Blind Insight.
Blind Insight. I remember that name.
Yeah, that was his band.
Okay.
Back in the day. I saw them. I actually used to go to their practices in the mid-'90s and hang out there. I was the young kid. They were the older ones. And, we're over there partying with them and shit. We thought we were cool. We're hanging out with bands and shit.
I was doing that with Community Spoon back in the day.
Yeah. Community Spoon.
Got to go party with them a couple times. Felt like I was fucking cool.
Yeah, like a rock star.
Yeah.
Is being the band as cool as you thought it was going to be?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Man, the best part about it is always going to be the creativity, man. Being creative.
Yeah, and you can play it. You can go as long as you want because if you get too old, you can just do it by yourself.
Yeah, if it's too loud, you're too old.
Huh?
If it's too loud, you're too old.
All right, man. Till next time.
Peace.